My name is Curtis Kile, and I am from Taylor, Michigan.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I'm a single parent of 2 children. I have an 18-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter, and I have cerebral palsy. I have had since birth, and I'm just out there trying to get my father's message out. He wanted to see legalization of marijuana in his lifetime. We came close, but we're still very far away, and we need to get it done. There's a lot of people out there that could benefit. There's people dying of cancer that they don't, if we had the opportunity, the doctors had the opportunity to use that as a medicine like it should be, we might be saving some people's lives.
Now, did cannabis benefit your father?
Yeah, my father was an alcoholic, and he stopped drinking and started smoking marijuana, and it saved his life. He drank for 35 years, and he was so bad of an alcoholic that back in the olden days, before they really, early 70s, 80s, before they really started cracking down, he got so many drunk driving tickets that they told him that if he got one more, they were going to put him in jail for 5 years with no questions asked. And I have an older brother. He came home from school one day and said, "Dad, all the kids in high school are smoking pot. I want to try it. Is it okay?" And my dad said, "Son, I don't know about it yet. Let me see what it's all about." So he went in the underground, found out what was really going on in the drug scene, went to the local school district and told them they had a drug problem in their schools, and they didn't want to believe they had a drug problem. But then my father, he really was an advocate to get marijuana legalized, and that was one of his dreams. So I'm going to finish up what he started, and I don't see no reason why it can't be legalized other than money. And until we get it completely legalized, it'll never be affordable and cheap enough for people to use it that really need it. So.
Cannabis benefits you?
Oh yes, I have muscle spasms from my cerebral palsy that are really are bad. And if I don't smoke cannabis every day, I don't smoke a lot, just a couple hits off of a pipe or a couple hits off of a joint, and it relieves the spasticity. But my son, after the trip, because I was I was basically in a wheelchair sometimes 4 days in a row, and he said my muscle spasms were acting up a little bit, so he smoked a little bit more, and I got him back down to where they're in control,
So as long as you use cannabis, it keeps those spasms under control?
Yes, and I smoked marijuana since I've been about 13 years old, and when I was going through my divorce, I had to quit smoking for 5 years because I was going through a custody battle, and I got my children, I raised them, but I ended up getting sick. Within those 5 years, I got kidney stones, and my thyroid stopped working. I had 4 bouts of kidney stones, my thyroid stopped working, and I almost died. And I said to myself after that I got out of that, I'm done. I'm going back to smoking pot because I know what it does. My father, when he was around, he went over to a dying cancer patient's house. He was in a fetal position in his bed, didn't get out of his bed for like a month, and I think the last time he was out of his bed was a month. And my dad went over there, rolled up a joint, and he hit that joint 2 times. And within 20 minutes, the guy was up, out of his bed, sitting on the couch with his legs propped up on the coffee table, having a conversation with my dad. He had tumors all over his head, And my whole thing is, if there's a cure out there, let's find a cure for cancer. If there's something that's going to make somebody's quality of life better, let's do it. You know, and this isn't just about legalizing marijuana. To me, this is a human rights issue. And, you know, it's just ridiculous that they're putting people in jail and not letting sick people have their cannabis. I cannot just sit by any longer and let things happen. That's why I rolled to Washington, D.C.
Well, tell me about that. You just made a trip out there, didn't you?
Yeah, we left my house on June 14th, me and my son, and we arrived at the White House on July 3rd. Took us about 20 days. And we got pulled over 5 times by law enforcement. All 5 times, nothing happened to us. There was one officer that was, you know, didn't really think it was a good idea, but I just looked at him and said, "Officer, all I'm trying to do is get to the White House, so please." And he said, "Well, I think it's kind of crazy, but whatever, be careful." Then I had one get out of their car, come over and shake my hand and says, I believe in what you're doing.
There you go.
So, you know, I believe there's enough people out there that believe that cannabis needs to be legalized.
Well, sir, I think that's a pretty fine interview right there. I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. For all you other people out there that are physically challenged and have been since birth or car accident or whatever, it doesn't matter. This has come a time that all of us need to band together. So I ask you, the next cannabis roll to everyone that can afford it, please meet me at the White House. Bring your wheelchairs and bring plenty of water, because we're going to sit out in front of the White House until the president does come out and see us. Thank you.
There you go.